listening to the hottest indie music on the planet. TRS 24/7 Radio, the station that independence built.
This is Christopher Giles, and you're listening to My Indie 10 on TRS 24/7 Radio. Yeah, I would describe my music as, I got to be honest, it's really tough because I kind of cross over a lot. My producer is a bit electronic, and it's kind of rock, but it's also adult contemporary. I've really had a hard time defining myself, and I actually kind of like that because at this point in my career, I'm not really sure where I'm going to end up. So for me, I guess I consider myself, top 40 rock, adult contemporary rock. That's even its own genre. Yeah, my creative process is pretty simple. I would say. For me, it's getting a track, at least a rough track, together and really kind of vibing on that. I tend to write a little more organically, so it's listening to even a rough chord progression or a rough track and kind of vibing on what maybe the topic may be. And I tend to write a little bit more like along the love songs kind of vibe. So for me, once I hear the song, it's connecting to it and kind of choosing a topic. And then once I've chosen a topic, for me, lyrics are relatively easy as far as writing. So once I get going, once I've chosen a melody, and a lot of times you have to work that through, though, where you might start with something. And for me, every song that I've done, I try to push the envelope a little bit more and a little bit more. So I'll sit there and come up with something, and then I'm like, is that good enough? Is that different? Because I don't want to be like everybody else. So for me, it's getting that rough track, getting a melody, and then really just kind of growing it organically into the words and finalizing the melody. And then once we have a rough song recorded, what I'll tend to do is get rough words written down, and then I'll kind of vibe on it for a couple days and listen to it and rewrite the words as needed and maybe fine-tune it so that it flows a little better. I've been pursuing my musical career from an original standpoint for probably the last 2 years. I know that seems short. I've been singing and playing in bands for, 10 to 12, and writing music probably half of that time. And a few years ago, I just decided from an artist standpoint that I wanted to kind of have a voice, and that I've been doing covers for so many years that I wanted to create. And I've always been a writer, so writing devotions and blogs and different articles and stuff like that. So for me, it was a couple years ago that I decided to have a song produced and go in and get it professionally recorded and written and stuff like that. So I would say my original career is about 2 years old. The music industry here in Orlando is quite interesting. There's two large dynamics, and there's a band scene where there's some original bands that have done pretty well here. Soul Switch is a band here now that's coming up pretty big, and Conspiracy, which are some friends of mine. And for me, it's interesting because I get to cross over because I'm in one of the most popular bands, cover bands in Florida, One Wild Nite, and then I'm now doing my original stuff. So I have a good fan base because I've got a lot of fans that have been following my cover bands for years. As far as the original scene, and there really isn't a ton of places to play, and I'm not sure comparably how that is to other larger cities, but there's kind of a handful of places that a lot of the original bands play in this area. For me, like I said, I get to play all over Florida doing, we'll be at Bike Week next week, playing the Full Moon Saloon. I get to play in Jacksonville, New Smyrna, Daytona, Orlando with my cover band. So I get to actually perform as much as I want, and typically that's about every other weekend. And with the cover band scene, you actually have the opportunity to make some money. So the original side tends to be a little more where you have to sell tickets or you have to kind of pay into it. So it goes pretty good for me right now. My goal will be in the future is to, we do have Hard Rock Cafe and House of Blues here locally. So I'm looking to get my original stuff to a place where I can open maybe for some national acts here locally and then get out on the road. Yeah, through the years, I have probably evolved. From a creative standpoint, it's been quite a journey for me to go just a few years ago, not having recorded any original songs at all, and really just been doing covers for 10, 12 years. And even having the opportunity to lead worship was such a different thing to go in the studio and create a song. So I got to be honest, it was such an invigorating, and it inspires me. I want to be in the studio all the time. Like, I love writing songs, and right now my producer and I, Rusty Wilmot, we try to write a new song at least, every month. We're putting out a new song, or at least writing one and then recording it. So I've been able to grow from a musical perspective of understanding musical from a technical perspective. Being in a cover band, you're singing somebody else's song, so you might have to learn, memorize some lyrics or, figure out how to sing it maybe correctly. But with the original music, it's been incredible because every song is a different almost moment or memory or topic or piece of conversation or a piece of your heart that you're putting down on paper. So for me, it has been really almost, I'm trying to think of the word, not organic, but therapeutic, I should say, to get out there and get these songs out, because they're like living memories. So they're going to last forever. And, I might share a moment of my wife and I, like my first song was written about a moment that happens every morning at the front door, and that will now live forever in music. So it's pretty neat to have grown in that way from a technical musical perspective. I would measure success in music in a few different areas. For me, what I've tried to do, because it's against my nature, is to not put too many static goals at the end of this journey in regards to being famous or being rich or anything along those lines. I feel very humbled and thankful to be in music. Like, being on stage now for 10, 12 years, every time is still very humbling to me, and it is so fulfilling and so rewarding. I just love singing. Like, even going to band practice, I look forward to it. I just can't wait to sing. So for me, what success would be for me is continuing music and having a voice and being able to write songs and record songs that are my own. And especially to get on there on that stage, or to have people, follow me or buy my music, or, reach out to me and say how much they cared for my music or that it touched them. I mean, that's success. Is, as an artist, you have a vision and you have something that comes out of your heart that you put down. And so for people to appreciate that, I believe that's a success. Everybody is so concerned about everybody thinks, but if you think about it in general, as an artist, it's putting something out there that at least gets acknowledged or, interpreted in some way. So for me, success is just to be able to continue to do music. Sure, I have goals and aspirations, would love to be at certain levels, but for me, as long as I'm doing music, then I'm successful. What the music business has taught me is to believe in myself. Every day I have to get up and I have to spend hours investing in a business. So it's almost like running a small business. Keeping it professional, investing in it every day. And there's a lot of sacrifice. Like, my wife and my kids have to sacrifice time with me, We have to invest money into it. So it's really like running a small business. So what I've learned is to manage my time and manage where my time goes. Meaning, if I'm going to invest into a website, a social website, I might spend a couple of weeks putting in the time every day, and trying it out and posting and putting pictures or videos or whatever it may be. And then it's learning to check the ROI, like what's the return on my investment. And really, I would say as an independent artist, our biggest, I want to say attribute or quality or something that we have to measure is our time, because none of us are filthy rich, so we're doing it out of the goodness of our heart and we're putting a lot of effort into it. But our time is valuable, and especially if we have goals of getting to the next level or getting our songs out or to be heard, our time is so valuable that if I'm putting time into something that isn't giving me any type of return, then I need to reevaluate. And that kind of has to happen pretty quickly from my perspective. I've been managing, a couple of cover bands I've been in over the years, and really, doing the booking and the money and all these different things. And it's the same thing for that, is where am I going to sink my time? Because it is about relationships, and it's about networking, and it's about investment. So I would say the biggest thing that I've learned is to use my time wisely. I engage my fans in quite a few different ways. as I said, I'm able to perform so often. You know, every other weekend, typically I'm playing out somewhere. And even on stage, I really put effort into engaging the crowd and keeping it very professional, but yet, you know, really engaging with them on a one-on-one basis and taking pictures with them after. And then following up on Facebook or Twitter, I consider myself to be very approachable. So whether it's social media or in person, I'm extremely thankful of people investing their time and money into something that I'm doing. It's extremely humbling. So I feel it's an honor for me to be the person they choose to put their time into. So I've always kind of had that nature, and even here in Central Florida, you know, people know me because of that, because I really do extend myself, and I really am thankful. It's not just lip service, and whether it's on Twitter, you know, engaging people back and forth on Twitter or Facebook, or I really do use all avenues to try to connect with my fans, you know, and I have a blog on Google that I write, and I try to write almost every day. So there's quite a few ways that I'm trying to engage my fans. I am currently performing. Actually, next week I will be at the Full Moon Saloon, which is Main Street during Bike Week, you know, in Daytona. It's a pretty big event. I'm fortunate to be able to play that a few years in a row now. It's pretty amazing to be in front of a few thousand people, just singing and having a good time. And playing all over. Like I said, I play pretty much every other weekend. And could play every weekend, but with the kids and family and the job and all that stuff, I try to temper it back a little bit. I'm finishing up, you know, enough songs to get my product out there where I can possibly release an album. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not, or just keep up with the singles. And then this year, starting to get out on the road to promote my music and really sing my original stuff. So that's coming this year. We actually have our first show with just the originals in April. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm kicking it off. This year is my Get Out and Tour year. This is Christopher Giles, and you've been listening to My Indie 10 on TRS 24/7 Radio. And you can reach me by searching for Christopher Giles Music on Twitter and or Facebook. And this is one of my new tracks, Started Over. This is Christopher Giles, and you're listening to one of my tracks on TRS 24/7.
By my side, you know even miles apart, I keep you deep inside. I know I found it here with you. Say we're second love, but you know I wouldn't change a thing. They must be blind, that's how they see us, that's how it is with you. I'd love to say, to let you know I feel this way. If I had a chance, I would tell you I need you to listen. It was my last day to do it all again. If I could have my way, start it over. I'd start it over. I'd start it all again. Give me one more hour, give me one more
Want to be a featured guest on TRS 24/7 with Chris and Alicia? Contact us at TRS 24/7radio@gmail.com today.